Britain maintained that the seas should be open to every nation for trade and commerce. These two views were, of course, incompatible. The stakes were dramatically upped in the summer of 1789 in Friendly Cove in Nootka Sound, when a Spanish captain captured several trespassing British trading ships and sent their officers and crews to Mexico as prisoners. The Spanish seizure of British ships and property incited a patriotic outcry in England. After Captain Cook's glorious navigation and charting of the Pacific, people asked, how could the Spanish dictate where British ships could sail and trade? Slogans were chanted, the rhetoric escalated, troops and warships were mobilized. The clash brought two great empires to the brink of war. The reluctant and temporary peace that followed inspired one of the great 18th century voyages of exploration, an epic adventure that was to last nearly 5 years and change the histories and geographies of Spain, Russia, Britain, Hawaii, the new Republic of the United States of America, the yet-to-exist country of Canada, and dozens of First Nations. In 1790, the British government commissioned two small ships, Discovery and Chatham, to circumnavigate the world, sail to Friendly Cove, and meet with a Spanish representative to ratify the terms of a boundary agreement between the two empires. The British leader of the expedition was also commissioned to do something far more daunting and ultimately far more important: complete a detailed nautical survey of the uncharted coast from California to Alaska, settling the issue of the legendary East-West Passage south of the Arctic, and compile a detailed report on the region, its peoples, and its resources. What was its potential as an outpost of the British Empire? Mapping a place is the first step to controlling it. For Britain, staking a claim to this distant but strategically important region, the unknown western coast of its sole remaining North American colony, was vital. If ignored, this coast was likely to fall under the control of potentially hostile foreign powers. For a commander, completing the exploring and charting of Pacific North America was a prized commission, a chance to make one's mark as an explorer and navigator. But the young captain chosen for the plum appointment, although experienced, had inherited a major prejudice, a deep skepticism about the existence of a Northwest Passage, variously known as the legendary Great River of the West, the Strait of Juan de Fuca, or the Strait of Anian. He felt that the fabled sea route was a mere chimera for hopeful but deluded traders. The young captain also harbored within himself the kernel of an illness, not yet evident but growing daily like a cancer, an illness that would drive him into uncontrollable rages that left him humbled, shamed, exhausted, and bedridden. The captain's fraying temper left him ill-equipped to deal with a belligerent and obnoxious midshipman, and led to a violent conflict that had terrible repercussions. The leader of that incredible voyage was a 33-year-old upper-middle-class Royal Navy officer, a protege of James Cook, and one of the finest hydrographic surveyors of his time. His life would end not long after he returned to London, after being humiliated, professionally blacklisted, and lampooned in the press for his alleged misdeeds on the far side of the world. He should have returned a hero, for he was one of the great mariners of all time, but instead he died in obscurity. The details of his epic voyage were lost amid the slander and innuendo propagated by his aristocratic enemies and in the din of cannon fire. Napoleon had just begun 10 years of military adventuring, and Britain was suddenly overtaken by patriotic and military fervor. The young captain, George Vancouver, could neither defeat his enemies at home nor compete with Napoleon's exploits. But he may, in the end, have earned a more honorable place in history. Part 1. Science and Discovery. 1. A Hero Returns. On July 12, 1771, a tiny, battered ship slipped up the English Channel and anchored at the Downs, a sheltered area of sea a little north of Dover. Several men clambered over the gunwales and down into a waiting longboat and were rowed to shore. The ship was unceremoniously guided by a pilot up the Thames for repairs and refitting in London,